Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Sanchez and I'm going to be introducing you to one of the seven wonders in the world. Um, as a child, one of my favorite things to do was watch TV because that's all I had for a little while. But I didn't have cable until I want to say about 6 or 7. So when I had cable, one of my favorite shows or channels was to watch was Disney Channel. And I had a couple of interesting shows that I personally love to watch, which were like Hannah Montana, Lizzie McGuire, and Wizards of Waverly Place. And one thing that Disney Channel had to offer was this little thing where they would like show videos of the cast going to Rome and showing them trying new places. And there's this place that I would always see them record at, or even in the shows, they would display like little bits of imagery or even like the cast members just walking around or near the place. And for one of the first things that I've noticed was that in Lizzie McGuire, she actually travels to Rome and she ends up performing at the Colosseum. So it was always interesting just seeing the amount of people that she performed for, especially since the Colosseum was something that interested me a little bit. And also, I remember another time that I've seen the Colosseum like on Disney Channel was when Wizards of Waverly Place. I believe Alex Russo fought with a version of herself at the Colosseum, which was very interesting to see. Just because it's not very common to see very great parts of history on kids television. So it was very, very fun to just kind of envision myself visiting the Colosseum one day because my favorite people were also going to the Colosseum and seeing those things in person. So I'm going to introduce you a little bit about the Colosseum and how it became to be. So it was built in CE 70 to 72, so it took a while for the Colosseum to be built. As you've seen pictures of the Colosseum, it's very destructive. The pieces are kind of a little bit, since it's a long time, I believe the Colosseum is about 2,000 years old and it has been through earthquakes, so it has survived a lot. The Colosseum was built by Roman Emperor Vespasian. So it was built. It took a while for all the Romans to agree about this structure. I guess they were intrigued by it, but also kind of distraught. And a lot of people were also excited. So it brought a lot of emotions to people. So it had a lot of political control. So due to all the beliefs and everything that was going on kind of during that time, it was kind of hard to agree on a structure so big. And it was kind of a very popular space when it opened up. So let me also tell you that when the Colosseum was being made, a lot of people were taking volunteers to come and build the Colosseum. So that was also interesting to see, just because they wanted this building to be very perfect. Eventually it was perfect when it was made, but then all the perfectness went away after the earthquake, so it left a lot of destructiveness. So let me also tell you about the history in the Colosseum. So during the history for the Colosseum, there's a lot of public executions that took place. So if you wanted to see an execution in place, it was available for everyone to see, no matter if you were poor, rich. I believe the rich sat in the front and the poor sat in the back, and you could buy things to throw at people. It was very gruesome, so there was nothing that was left to be hid from the public to see these things. So there was one article that I've read that said that like guts were on the floor, like heads were rolling. It was very, very gruesome. They didn't recommend your kids to come. It was just very awful. They also performed live shows, which is very interesting, just because now the Colosseum does have live shows. I believe they held the live shows outside of the Colosseum rather than inside. And also they had mock battles, which were very common back in the day, just because if you wanted to fight someone, that's the way that they would do it, and it would be live to the audience as well. So reasons to visit the Colosseum is that it is a huge part of history. It's just been around for a very long time. It's a beautiful structure in Rome, and personally one day I hope to visit. It's just something that has been in my bucket list for a very long time, and I hope that one day I do get the chance to go. Eventually, I plan to visit Italy within the next 5 years, so that's going to be a very good public thing to start. And then also, the Colosseum is one of the seven gates of hell. So it's called the seven gates of hell just because a lot of people have died there. And when you visit the Colosseum, from videos that I've watched, people say that they can feel the souls of the people that have died there just because they died in very gruesome ways, which is kind of sad, but it's also very interesting. And it's just, for me personally, one part that I would like to see just because I like ghost things and everything. But that's why I would recommend you go visit the Colosseum. Once again, it's a very huge part of history. A lot of people all over the world, I believe 5 million people a year go visit the Colosseum, and it's just something that you should try one day. And then also, let me just show you a picture of the structure right now. So like I mentioned, it does have a bit of destructive pieces just because there has been an earthquake through it. This is the Colosseum at night. And this is the Colosseum as of 2023. So if you're ever in Rome,